This video contains spoilers for A Nightmare on Elm Street. Hey everybody, what's up? I'm Clay from the Hills Maniacs, and today I answer the question in the title of this video: are there inconsistencies in A Nightmare on Elm Street? So if you haven't seen any of the previous Inconsistencies videos, make sure you go check those out. I've done the first 3 Jurassic Park movies. I've done Friday the 13th. So go check those out right here on this channel. They're really fun, and basically what it is I go in and watch a movie, any movie, either for the first time or rewatch a movie, and I write down things that are like left unanswered, or things that are put in the movie but never followed up on. You know, if something happens and it's just like a thing that leads to something later on, but they never really answered the question as to why it happened, you know, or just minor things that like shouldn't really be in the movie because they, you know, it's just a waste of time because they never answer it or whatever. But so that's basically what this is. And before we get into this, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you get notifications, and leave a comment on this video, and definitely like this video if you're into this kind of stuff. So without any further ado, let's get right into this. So the first point I want to make is, if you've ever seen A Nightmare on Elm Street, you know that the basic premise of this movie is that Freddy Krueger can haunt people's nightmares, and so basically my first question, I guess, would be, how is he able to do this? Because we find out later on that he was a child murderer, I guess, and the parents of the town killed him when he was let go from the trial, released after the trial because somebody forgot to put in the right paperwork or something like that. And so the parents took it into their own hands, and they murdered Freddy, and so he comes back and I guess haunts the nightmares of the kids in the town. And I never understood how he's able to do that. Like, what makes him able to come back in nightmares, and then if something happens in the nightmare, it happens in real life, and I'll get into that a little later on. But like, is this some kind of like magic? Is this like, you know, and they never really answer this in the first Nightmare movie. They never really answer it in the first movie, and I've only really seen the first 2. I mean, I've seen, I think, 3 and 4, but I don't really remember them, so it's kind of it doesn't make sense for him to be able to come back and then not answer how he's able to come back in nightmares. Like, I've had nightmares before, and there's never been something that like, you know, it was something that happened in real life, and then I've had a nightmare about it and it's affected me in some way. You know, it's just, it's weird. Or like somebody dies and then comes back in a nightmare. Like that I've never had that, you know, and it just doesn't, it really doesn't make any sense. But also on that note, because we find out that the main characters, the kids of the movie, which I guess they're more like teenagers at this point, but they don't know the story of Freddy Krueger and what happened, and yet they're all having, at least the main girl, Tina, and all of her friends, I guess, are having a nightmare with Freddy Krueger haunting them, trying to kill them, and all this other stuff. What I don't understand is, if they don't know who he is, how are they having a nightmare about him? Because usually if you have a nightmare, it's usually about something scary, or someone that like, you know, or something that you know happened, that like you know, or you have a nightmare about like a horror movie that you saw because it was scary, or so, you know. So it's basically some life experience that makes you afraid, and so I don't understand what's making them all dream about Freddy. because this is like, you know, he died before they were, either they were really little kids or they weren't born yet, whatever. But like, why are they dreaming about him if they don't know who he is? But the next point I want to bring up is we've seen throughout the movie that it seems like Freddy can basically be in multiple places at once in a dream. So like, or in multiple dreams, I guess I should say, at one time. Because we've seen him like where he'd be tormenting Nancy, one of the main, well, who actually ends up being the main girl. And then she's, and then he's also with Tina, who ends up getting killed. Uh, so it seems like he's in multiple dreams at one time, but I don't know if he can. So that's my question: can he jump between dreams? Can he be like? Is there? So like, if I'm dreaming and Steven's dreaming, like, can he be in both our dreams at the same time and kill us simultaneously? Like, does he have to go from one to the other to kill somebody? Like, how does that work? And I know it's not really an important question to answer, but I just, because I noticed it happens a couple times where he's in like two different people's dreams. And so I was just kind of wondering, like, is he also still in the other person's dream? Or is he jumping back and forth? Is that why they're able to run away from him sometimes in the dreams, because he has to jump to another dream and then come back? Like, how does this work? Is this because, like, I mean, basically this whole thing doesn't make any sense. And so, the and on that note, where being in multiple dreams and stuff, how does Freddy get to different people's dreams? Like, I could be dreaming about like rainbows and sunshine. Does that mean he's automatically gonna pop up, or do I have to be having a nightmare for him to show up? Does he create the nightmare in my head that he can then pop up? Like, how does this? This is an important thing, because if you're gonna have a killer who kills people in their dreams, we should probably know how the dream thing works. And so I don't really understand. I mean, I've seen the movie and I do like the movie. It's like, how is he able to do this? Like, I already brought up the point, what makes him able to come back in nightmares in the first place, but now what makes him be able to come back, or how is he able to come back in dreams? Like, does it have to be a nightmare for him to come back? Can it be a dream and he makes it a nightmare? Can he just pop up in a dream? Like, I don't know how that works. Another thing that I wanted to talk about was something I mentioned earlier, where if you die in the dream, or if something happens to you in the dream, it happens to you in real life. And so, like, we find out, like, if you wake up as you're grabbing onto Freddy's hat, you'll pull his hat out of the dream. And so his hat will be in the real world now. And this is something I don't understand, because I don't remember a lot of my dreams, but I know I've had dreams where, like, I've probably fallen off of something and died, and I'm obviously still here. So it's like, I don't get how you can pull something out of your dream, and why, if something happens to you in real life, or happens to you in the dream, it happens to you in real life, or vice versa, which we do see in Freddy versus Jason, but that's a whole nother point. But I get it. It's part of the movie, and it's not supposed to really make sense, because it's a movie, but it's still something I would have liked followed up on. And I don't know if any of the sequels do answer any of these questions, but at least for the purpose of the first one, these questions weren't answered. So the last thing I want to bring up is, does Freddy choose whose dreams he can go to? So like, is he, is he like, oh, when Nancy goes to sleep, I'm gonna pop back up in her dream, or is he just like, when somebody falls asleep, he's just there? Like, I don't know how this works, and if that is the case where he does choose um, whose dreams to pop up into, or even if he doesn't, how does he know when this person is asleep to pop up into their dreams? Like, unless he's just like pulled into a dream somehow from wherever he is. Like, if he, if he's just chilling on his couch somewhere, does he just like I mean, his dead couch, does he just like get sucked up into a dream and then he has to like kill somebody, or is he like sitting there waiting, like watching their mind, waiting for them to go to sleep? Like, how does this work, and how does he choose? Because it seems to be where, at least in the first movie, he's only targeting uh, Nancy and her friends. So, like, I'm sure there's other kids in this town, right? So why isn't he, or at least we don't hear that he's going to any of their dreams. We only hear about the main characters. And so it's like, does he choose who to go after? And on that note, also, what made him wait this long to come back in a dream? Because we find out that it was a while between when he died and when this movie takes place. So what made him wait so long, and what made him come to Tina and Nancy and all them instead of coming to somebody younger? Uh, and because I'm sure these aren't the only young kids in the town. Um, but these are just questions that like I needed answers. And again, this isn't to that's all my questions, but this isn't to discredit any movies or make anything seem like a bad movie or make it seem like I don't like it. It's just for fun, so please just you know. But basically, these are all the points I found in A Nightmare on Elm Street. I think it's a lot more than, well, not a lot more, but it is more than um, most of the other ones that I've done here. And I hope you guys were able to follow along, because I wasn't going to group some of these together, but I did end up, grouping some of them into smaller categories. But and I leave a comment if you guys had any of these same questions that I answered. So thanks for watching this video. Stay tuned for October 25th through the 31st. It's Halloween. We will be uploading a horror or Halloween related video every single day that week up until Halloween. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you go back and rewatch the other inconsistencies videos I've done on this channel, because they are really fun to make, and again, it's not to discredit anything, it's just for fun. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.